Hello and welcome to France 24's weekly music show. I'm Marjorie Hash and my guest this week will hit you like a blast from the past if you were a fan of garage punk rock in the mid-2000s. At the time, they were barely out of high school when their catchy tunes and live performances attracted praise from both music fans and the press. However, by their second album, the band were ready to call it quits and return to their native Nashville. 15 years later, they're back with a brand new album entitled Mommy. Be Your Own Pet. Thank you for being here on France 24.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. Now, you've just released this brand new album and you've been in Europe. You've recently played Rock en Scène, notably here in France. How are you feeling?
Amazing.
Very tired, but also amazing.
Yeah, very happy to be back doing this again and playing shows. It's been really fun. And be back in Europe is great.
No nerves? Was it all? Did you feel like you were picking up where you left off?
I don't really get the nerves. Yeah, I feel like we just picking right back up where we left off.
Yeah, the good nerves.
Good nerves.
Yeah. Right before a lot of the shows, we'll huddle up and jump up and down and try to get the blood flowing and get excited, and then we go out there and crush it.
Yeah.
Well, how about we check out one of the tracks? It's called Worship the Whip.
The altar in your temple of pain. He commands, get on your knees. Yes, Daddy, punish me while the boot presses down on your neck. Lick it up, baby. Lick it clean. You eat it up, baby. It's your fantasy. Lick it up, baby. Lick it clean. You eat it up, baby. You worship the whip. You worship the whip. You worship the
Taken from the new album Mommy. So Jemima and Jonas, I wanted to know, now some of you have become parents in recent years, yet the aesthetics of the music videos, but also like the cover of the record, which you've got here, are very fetish themed.
Yes.
Tell us a bit what inspired this combo?
I thought it was a funny juxtaposition, and there's such a obsession with like daddy, be your own daddy, and that kind of thing. And so I wanted to frame motherhood in a similar light, instead of being seen as submissive as being the one that is powerful. So kind of putting the two things together.
Sounds very good. Now, you're also signed to Third Man Records, which is famed for being Jack White's record label and a staple of Nashville over the last decade. How pivotal were they in convincing you guys to reform?
Yeah, I think, Jack had asked us to open up some shows for him last year, and that really kicked things into gear for us. So thanks, Jack, for putting a fire under us to do it.
Yeah, I didn't think we had any intention of playing any shows anytime soon, but we had all met together for the first time in 13 years, and then by the end of our meeting, just for fun, we were like, hey, let's just meet up and see if we can play some old songs together. And then Jamina went to the Third Man Records holiday party, Christmas party, and word got out that we had gotten together and played some music, and Jack was about to do a supply chain issues tour, and then he went up to Jamina and said, hey, you should come open up some shows. And then I guess Jamina confirmed
I just said yes immediately. I didn't even ask the band.
But, we got the text, and the rest of the boys were just like, all right, I guess we got to do it. And it was a lot of fun. So we spent about 7 or 8 days straight relearning all of the songs, and then our first official show back was opening up for Jack White at the Barclays Center, which is a massive arena in Brooklyn, New York. And it was a lot of fun.
That's such a good comeback, I think. Also, anyone who knew you back in the day, you were like literally the hottest thing, in the rock circuit, the up-and-coming rock circuit. But then you guys burnt out really quickly. And I know, Jemima, you quoted or cited misogyny and sexism as a big, heavy player. Do you mind telling us what it was like at the time?
At the time, we were so young, and I was just sort of becoming my own person, and it felt like constantly journalists like sexualizing me and objectifying me in a way that I wasn't comfortable with. And then, you know, our record label really wanted us to do things like the Warped Tour in America, which I had heard countless horror stories from other women who had been on that tour, and it wasn't something that I wanted to put myself in the crossfire of, I guess. So, yeah, and I think it wears on you dealing with that every day, and having fans come up to you and try to grope you or touch you, you know, it gets exhausting. I will say this time around, the energy feels much different. I think there's still probably a long way to go, but comparing it to how it was 15, 20 years ago, I've seen a lot of progress in the way that people write about us now, and the way that just being treated in venues with respect feels like a win.
No, I can only imagine. Also, in terms of mental health for both women and men, is that you've seen improvements on that end as well from record labels or?
I think so. I mean, also we're on a much different record label this time around. We're on an independent label, and we're very intimate with everyone who runs the label. We know them well, whereas before we were a big part of a huge label, just kind of a piece in the machine. So it feels like the relationships are much more personal, and they want to support us in having us sort of steer the direction a lot more.
Yeah. It's been nice just to kind of be steering the ship and be in a lot more control of our own destiny.
Yes.
Whereas back in the day, it was just like, all right, children, go out and tour the world for 200 days a year. And I think to any 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, that'll probably drive you a little crazy.
Yeah, totally. When you were emerging, it was the heyday of what is now referred to indie sleaze, this period from the early 2000s to 2012, which, obviously involves Yeah, Strokes, and so many other bands. What does it feel like you've got deja vu as well coming back at this time?
It is funny to be playing these festivals with so many bands that we played with back in the day. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's definitely fun and exciting and yeah, we just did. I guess the festival we played yesterday and the one in All Points East in London was kind of indie sleaze themed, and yeah, it felt kind of like a big reunion.
Well, that's fun. We hope to see more of you on the road and back in Europe shortly. Well, how about we check out some of the other new releases that are out this week, and we stay in the US with Olivia Rodrigo, who has just always been known for being a Disney princess, but branched out as an acclaimed pop singer, and now she seems to draw inspiration from punk rock. Her new album is called Guts. Let's check out the video for the track Bad Idea, right? Olivia Rodrigo exploring the growing pains and jumping from your teens to young adulthood. Be your own pet. Do you think that nowadays pop stars are less segregated in specific genres of being a pop star, and they can now delve into edgier sounds than back in the day?
I think so, and I think in general, the music has just become a big mixing pot of everyone sort of drawing inspiration from all different genres. My daughter loves Olivia Rodrigo, so we listen to her a lot in my house.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think back in the day, you kind of had to pick a clan and stick with it, and I think over the years, as Jamina was just saying, yeah, it's all kind of starting to blend together, and you can pull from different genres, and you can like whatever you want. Yeah.
Over to a British band who's always been rock and roll through and through. After touring with Muse over the summer, bass-heavy Royal Blood are back this week with their fourth studio album entitled Back to the Water Below, a record they enjoyed producing themselves at home in Brighton, and they brought a little bit of piano in this single. Royal blood there. And that's all we have time for. Thank you so much, Jonas and Jemima, for being our guests, Be Your Own Pet, who are back. I'll remind everyone to go check out Mummy, the new record. And also, I've got time to remind you before the latest France 24 bulletin comes up that you can catch all our culture news on our website, france24.com, and of course, our social media platforms. That's at Encore F24. We're going to be playing out with something completely different. We're heading to Sweden to find Iconopop. The Swedish electro-pop duo are back, and they're famed for their single I Love It that came out over a decade ago. This new album is called Club Romantek. Yes, get it, Romantek. And they have actually found solace and inspiration in heartache, and they've changed them into happy, upbeat songs. It's like falling in love.
You got me shaking, you got me breaking all the rules. You set my icy heart on fire. I can't control or shut it down. It's taking me over, me over. You make my senses come alive. So this is how it feels like when you fall, la 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 la, fall in la la la, fall la la la.